Hey guys, and welcome to this new beginner series. The classes will be shorter. They'll be a little bit more accessible for anyone new to the practice. And this first class is all about the art of stillness. And I think in this world where we live, it's so fast-paced and it can feel really hard to feel comfortable in stillness. And that's where we're going to try and find a balance today, where we're still stretching and moving our body, but we're coming to a place of calm and still instead of sweat and heat and extra fire that you often get in the dynamic styles of yoga. So whenever you're ready, you'll want to grab a couple of things. So a yoga mat if you need one. And you've also got a blanket in today's class where we're going to use it to support ourselves in a few different poses. So it's always better to have it nearby and use it or not need it, but it's worse to have it not nearby and have to pause your class and go and get it. So grab a hold of those before you carry on the video, give it a pause, and I will see you there in a bit. So welcome back. We're going to be starting our class today seated. So however you get there, you can sit on the chair if you need to, just for the start. You can sit on the floor and you can grab a hold of that blanket that we got at the start, and you can even roll it up nice and thick and take your hips on there as well for like a nice comfortable seat. And if you're near any cushions or anything like that, you can bring them as well. It's up to you. And we're going to start working into some yogic breath. Nice, deep breath that helps us to come to this state of stillness. So when you start your yoga practice, it's really important to tune into the breath. Take a moment to just meditate, to pause, to find a minute of peace. So when you get comfortable in your seat, once you're there, we're going to bring the hands down, just rest them on your lap or your knees. And then we'll start to take some breaths, just natural ones to start with, taking some nice deep breaths, trying to guide it through the torso. Trying to inhale into your shoulders, your chest. And as you exhale, let the shoulders come down. Taking a minute here. And then we're going to move into some yogic breathing now, which is a 3-part breath. While you just sit with some natural breath for now, I'll explain. Our yogic breath takes our breath and it directs it from the belly into our lower ribs and all the way up into the chest and your shoulder area. And almost like a wave, on the exhale, we leave the chest, it leaves the lower ribs, and it finally leaves the belly. So it's almost like a rippling effect of our breath flowing through our body. And we're going to start taking a few of these together now. So you can rest your hands comfortably. I like to take them on the belly so I can make sure the belly is the last thing coming in on those exhales. But we'll start by just slowly, you can gaze gently or close the eyes and open for a minute here. And then on your next inhale, we'll very slowly try and inflate the belly, the lower ribs, the shoulders. And on your exhale, leave the shoulders, the chest, the lower ribs, and the belly. And just start to notice how your breath naturally begins to elongate. On your exhales, you'll notice the shoulders drop down, the lungs tucking in, the abdominal and the belly button drawing in. Taking a couple more rounds here with your own breath and your own rhythm. Feeling the expanse of your entire upper body and torso with your inhales. And then from here, we'll bring the hands to a comfortable position. We'll just take a nice breath in all together. And then as we exhale, let's sigh it out through your mouth. Let it go. Then we're going to take our right hand out to the side. Let's take the left hand behind our head, the nape of our neck. And just open your chest up to the ceiling here. Our first stretch is a nice side body stretch as we inhale. And then on your exhale, just walking the hand out, maybe giving yourself a little lean over to that right and trying to keep that elbow pushing back as best as you can. And with this, moving that breath into that left side body, you want to feel it all here into that left rib cage, your obliques. And as you exhale, you're almost scrunching into your right obliques, closing that gap. Taking one more breath here. And then as we inhale, we'll bring ourselves all the way up through a seat, taking the left hand out, and then bringing that right hand up, trying to open your chest, your shoulder, roll your shoulder back, work your elbow up to the ceiling. And then on your exhale, closing those left obliques and opening out that right side body now. Placing the hand wherever it feels comfortable. And just taking a minute here, you'll feel it going all the way into your side body, maybe in the shoulder. And don't worry if you can't open completely flat to the side. You're just starting, so just give yourself peace. And give yourself a little bit of grace to learn still. And then on your inhale, bring it all the way back up through your seat. And then we'll take the arms out, just give them a little shake. Shake out the shoulders. And then we're going to take ourselves into a gentle twist now. So bringing that left hand forward, just holding onto the left shin for a bit more space here. And then with that right hand, just bringing it either side of that right hip here. And just taking a gentle twist over. Allow your gaze to maybe follow along, gazing over to the right. But trying to stay long in your spine. Take all that tension out of your face. And then take one more breath here. And then we'll inhale, bring it back into that center. And we'll swap the legs around. If you're in this cross leg with me, if you're on a chair, don't worry, you can just take the same variation and just holding on to the opposite leg. So we're going to bring that right hand now, just holding on to the right shin. You can even lift the leg and place it down on top for a bit more of an increased grip. And then with that left hand, take it behind, next to the left hip. And just give yourself a gentle twist here. And remember, lengthen the spine. Tension out of the shoulders, the jaw, maybe even smile through your practice. Remind yourself why you're here, what you're enjoying this for. And if you want, you can shift your gaze a little bit further over to that left to stretch into your neck. And then bringing it into center, we'll inhale here. And we'll just very slowly, holding onto the legs, roll our hips a little bit here by forward folding over the left leg and then through the center, over the right, and then inhale back into that seat. And then switching directions other way into that right side, through your center, over to the left, and then up through the middle. And then two more, one more each side, each direction. Taking it into that little hip circle here, mobilizing our spine a little bit as well as we go. as we dive the chest down and create a little circle with that torso. And then bring ourselves into that center here. We're going to come onto our hands and knees next. So take a little bit of time to get yourself in a comfortable position. And this is where the blanket can come in handy. You can bring it onto your mat, just wide enough that your knees can also face the mat. And then we're going to take ourselves onto our hands and knees. And keeping our big toes together, we're going to take the knees probably about mat width apart for nice space. If you have more space to give, then go wider. But please just keep your cushion under your knees. Expand the blanket if you need that. And we're just going to stay here on our hands. And we're going to try and sink the hips back towards the heels. Staying nice and lifted here. And this is a really wide leg variation of a child pose, but it's also a really nice alternative for a frog pose as well, getting into your hips. Taking one breath here, just sinking the hips down. And then the reason we keep our hands forwards is because we're going to add movement now. As we inhale, we'll come onto our hands and knees. And then on our exhale, we'll sink the hips down. Inhaling, bring it up. Exhale, sink it down. And then inhale, bring it up. Finding a little bit of movement. While we're still learning stillness, we incorporate slight movements as we sink the hips down. This is where we come to that stillness now. So you can either drop your forearms on the floor if that's where your space is today. You can even walk the elbows wide and bring the forehead to the ground into our full child pose. Slow your breath here. And we'll come back to that yogic breathing here, but in the back body now. So instead of just bringing it into the belly, the front ribs, the chest, we're going to try and take the breath into the back of our lower back, into the back of our rib cage, and up into the back of our heart between the shoulder blades. And then we'll reverse the flow on the exhale. So on your inhale, really breathing into your hips, your back rib cage, your upper back. And then as you exhale, leave the upper back, drop the shoulders, drop the ribs, and drop your hips. Following it with your own breath, trying to really direct that breath, filling your entire back body and just appreciating the stillness just for a moment longer. Just feeling yourself surrender as you exhale. And then from here we'll inhale and bring ourselves all the way up into that center. And we're going to take ourselves into a seat now. Bringing ourselves down onto our backs. We're going to start to close the practice with some supine sequences and flow. So from here, we're going to make sure our blanket is just still nice and comfy and next to us. And we'll just double it up in a way where it's nice and thick. Okay, so you've got a lot of cushion here that you can just grab a hold of easily if you need it. And then to get down onto the mat, we're just going to simply roll ourselves down, taking it as slow or as quick as you need, using your elbows to support you. And then we're going to bring our knees into the chest. Give ourselves a little hug here. Massage out the lower back if you need it. And then bringing ourselves just for a moment, maybe rolling out the ankles. And then come back to that stillness. And then from here, we're going to bring that blanket just next to our hip, our right hip, giving it a little bit of cushion here. We're going to find a supine twist. So to start this, bring your feet down onto the floor. Walk them together, walk the knees together, And then we'll extend that left arm out to the side as we inhale there. And then on your exhale, you're just going to drop your knees down onto your blanket. And if you feel this bottom knee can go further, but this top knee can't, you can always bring that blanket between your legs as well for a little bit of extra space. It's up to you how you use it. Just make sure you've got it for a bit of support. Let the feet just rest comfortably. You can stagger them, you can stack them, it's up to you. But the goal here is to keep the chest up towards the ceiling, keeping that left shoulder into the ground. Finding ourselves in a moment of stillness here, but in a way that isn't forcing our body in uncomfortable positions, just deep enough that feels good for you. Taking 1 or 2 more breaths here, nice breaths, and trying to direct it up into that left shoulder and your left pec. And exhale to empty out the belly and maybe let the knees drop a little further. And then on your inhale, we'll very slowly bring it all the way back through the center, keeping that blanket handy because you're going to want that. Take your knees back into your chest just to reset and neutralize the lower back. Especially as a beginner, you'll probably experience a bit of tightness coming into the lower back as you're stretching and working a lot of your upper body muscles, including along your spine, in your back body. So we're focusing today on that stillness, but also releasing a little bit of that tension as we take the feet down onto the ground. And then we'll slowly place that blanket. Again, you can take it underneath your hip if you want, or to the side of that left hip. But let's extend that right arm out to the side on your inhale. As you exhale, legs fall over to the side, feet can stack or stagger, it's up to you. And if you feel like you've got a big gap between your knees, then you can even bring that blanket between the legs for a little bit of extra cushion. And it just stops a little bit of that strain going into your thigh, into your outer hip. Slowing your breath wherever you are. Directing your breath up into that right shoulder. And with your exhales, just letting your belly come in. Maybe accessing millimeters more into this twist. As we take 1 or 2 more breaths here, wherever you are. Breathe in through the nose as best as you can. And then very slowly bringing it all the way up through your center. Moving your blanket just out of the way for now. And then from here, taking your feet together, knees out nice and wide into a reclined butterfly position. Now you can rest your hands on your belly, connecting once more to that yogic breath as you inhale into the belly, the chest, the shoulders. And exhale to reverse out the shoulders, the lower ribs, the middle, the belly. And we'll just rest here for 3 more breaths, just trying to find stillness for a little while. Let the feet stay grounded into each other. And let the hip flexors just release. Let all this tension go out from the center of your hips there, where we connect to our inner thighs. Taking 1 more breath here. And then we're going to inhale and bring ourselves back through our center. And at this point, we're going to take ourselves into a legs up the wall. Or if you don't have a wall accessible, I'll show you Savasana first so you can get yourself comfy as we extend the legs long, a little wider than hip distance. Bring the hands out to the side where the palms can face up to the ceiling. If this doesn't feel comfortable on your lower back, plant your feet, turn your heels out, and let your knees fall in towards each other. Resetting your tailbone. And then if you come in with me to do the legs up the wall, you're going to sit up. Get yourself set up first. So bring that blanket to the wall. This is what's going to rest your hips on. So make sure you're nice and comfy. And there's no real graceful way of getting into a legs up the wall, but the easiest way that I've found is just to get yourself as close to the wall as possible. And then just rolling onto your back and sliding those legs up the wall as you get there. And you can always adjust a bit when you get there, but let those feet just ground through the heels. There'll be a softness in the knees, that's okay. Gaze in gently up to the toes if you want. Or at this point, close the eyes. The hands can again rest on the belly wherever you are today. And if you prefer a little bit more space and opening, take the hands out to the side. Traditionally, this is held for about 5 minutes. We're going to take it for about 1 today just to ease yourself in. And you're more than welcome to stay here if it feels good. Our legs up the wall encourages all the blood to flush back through into your hips, into your lower back. So if you do experience any ailments there, tension and sensitivity, this is a really nice one to do. Also helps to let the legs disengage entirely, giving your muscles in the legs a little bit of a rest. And on a more emotional and subconscious level, our legs at the wall helps to encourage more relaxation, a bit more stillness. So we'll just take 1 or 2 more breaths here if you're going for the shorter one with me today. More than welcome to stay there while I close the practice. So to come out, we'll take our knees into our chest, plant the feet on the wall. Give yourself a mini pause here. Maybe let the knees open out to the side while you've got the wall there for a bit of support, getting into those hips. And then we're going to roll over onto our side, taking yourself into a fetal position, resting your head on your arm and cradling your body with the other arm, just giving yourself a breather. And then using a helping hand and slowly bringing yourself back into that seat and finding yourself back on the mat or your blanket, whatever feels more comfortable. And just take a moment here just to pause and settle. And then we'll bring our hands into our heart center and just take a second to appreciate that we've stepped on the mat today, we've come here, we've done our practice. Well done. Taking an inhale wherever you are. Exhale, bow your head. Namaste.